Saints have made some early roster moves in the offseason, so we're going to inform you on what they did. And Alontae Taylor spoke out about the latest free agency rumors around him. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Without further ado, let's share the list of not free agents, but players that have signed reserve or future deals. What is a reserve or future deal? I'll tell you in a second, but to let you guys know who was signed, Dalys Beanum, a player who is a UDFA for the New Orleans Saints this past class. Beanie Bishop, who recently joined the Saints, a fairly productive cornerback for Pittsburgh before joining New Orleans in 2024. We'll talk about him. Had some good moments. Jayden Price, Elliott Davison, Coziah Izzard, Elijah Cooks, Eason Kilty, and Barry Wesley, who did see some run as a starter, or saw some considerable run with the Saints as the offensive line dealt with some injuries. Now, what's a futures contract? Well, basically, it's a contract that's not guaranteed for players who finished not on the active 53-man roster, so teams can sign them. It doesn't count. It counts the 53-man salary cap. It counts against the roster number and all that good stuff, but basically, it's practice squad guys who didn't get to be on the active roster. So there you go. That's the roster news. But Beanie Bishop, like I mentioned, we talked about it when he signed. I think this is a really, really sneaky good addition. He's a second-year player. This will be going into his third year of the NFL. Started 6 games for the Steelers in 2024, 493 snaps played. He was active in the slot position as a corner, and he was fairly productive. 4 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, 45 tackles. When it comes down to the New Orleans Saints, I think Beanie Bishop is a player that should get some run and should get some looks whenever it gets to the preseason and training camp. I think he's somebody who could definitely make a name for himself. And depending on what the Saints do with Alontae Taylor, we're going to have to see what his future holds. Now, a player that was not on that list, and I don't know if it's he hasn't been signed or he hasn't been signed yet, or he's just not going to get signed at all. Hunter Dekkers, a player that was brought in early in the offseason last year, and he kind of competed for the QB job. He was always like the QB 3 or 4, was behind Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler, and Tyler Shuck. He was one of the practice squad guys placed on the practice squad injury list at some point early in the season. So when it comes to Hunter Dekkers, he was a guy that was on and off and on and off and on and off the roster for a while when they were doing some roster movement and roster management. But Hunter Dekkers, keep an eye on him. Maybe he does return to the Saints. Maybe he doesn't. But I will tell you right now, we are on the road to 54,000 subs. I need 80 crazy Saints fans to lock us in today. If you love the Saints, if you bleed black and gold, and you want daily Saints content by fans for fans, you found the place. Hit the sub button for 100% free. Now let's talk free agency update around Alontae Taylor. He does expect a lot of buzz and a lot of interest in free agency. Now the story with Alontae Taylor is interesting. At the trade deadline, there was chatter around him being moved to the Colts. And then we obviously know Indianapolis. They did the splash trade for Sauce Gardner, which took them out of the market for Alontae Taylor. But we also know that extension talks have been going on for quite some time. And here's what Alontae Taylor had to say, sounding off about his future with New Orleans. I've got to just make the right decision for me and my family. I think I'm going to continue to pray about it. Continue to keep God first. He'll land me right where I need to be. Ever since we started negotiating during training camp, I prayed that we could figure something out. It just didn't happen. Now, with Alontae Taylor, I do think it's a big decision to make for this player. I think that he's somebody that gets a lot of criticism, and I'm not going to say that it's unjustified because, sure, there is a lot of moments where he doesn't step up in coverage, or he doesn't quite get the interception, or he doesn't quite get the pass breakup, or he misses the tackle, or he over pursues. But with Alontae Taylor, in my personal opinion, I think that the New Orleans Saints would be wise to bring him back. An 83 tackle season, 2 interceptions, 11 pass breakups. This year, among all cornerbacks, he was second in solo tackles, second in sacks. He was first in run stops and fourth in receptions allowed. So for Alontae Taylor, he's a player that I think does have some upside, and he's a player that I know a lot of Saints fans are not necessarily the most stoked with. That being said, I think he gets a lot of criticism that isn't I mean, it's sort of deserved, but I think it gets a little too much criticism. People just one time thought, oh my God, Alontae Taylor sucks, but then you're just going to disregard all of the good things he does. Really effective as a tackler. Whenever he gets near the football, it seems like he is actively making plays. He's stepped up as a leader, and I think his value is only going to grow as he continues to evolve and develop as an NFL cornerback. Now, what would you do? Pay Alontae Taylor, or would you let him walk? Type P for pay, type W for let him walk. I think that he's an ultra flexible player. I think he has a ton of versatility, and I think that he's a chess piece in Brandon Staley's defense. So personally, I'm okay with paying him. I'm going to give you my contract projection here in just 1 second. But guys, I was scrolling through the interwebs, if you will, and I found this Saints t-shirt, brand new, absolutely fresh. Chatsports.com/SaintsT. You can get yours. Click the link down below in the comments or description of this video if you want to get some new Saints threads. Now, we do know Alontae Taylor has expressed interest in returning to New Orleans. He's said it multiple times, actually. And most recently, he's been saying that it would be really, really tough to leave New Orleans if that's what the decision was ultimately made. So for Alontae Taylor, he was asked, what's kind of the thoughts on your future? The Saints gave him an opportunity. They drafted me, gave me a chance to show my talents week in and week out. So if I end up going somewhere else, it's going to hurt. I love this city. It feels good whenever I go around the community and see kids doing my thumbs down celebration. So to leave, if that's what it comes down to, it would be tough. And again, I don't think Alontae Taylor is limited to just being a versatile player in Brandon Staley's defense. I think he's a culture piece. I think he brings a lot of energy and a lot of swagger. I think he brings a lot of attitude. I think he's very disruptive. I think he's a very, very fun player to have on the defense. And honestly, I think he's a little bit of an enforcer. I personally would be all in bringing back Alontae Taylor. And I know that a contract, when it comes down to the numbers, may not be exactly what you want to pay him, but I think that he's a guy that's worth it because if you bring him back, you eliminate a need that you have to address this offseason. And to be totally honest, I think that he's a player that's only going to get better with more consistency in the defensive coaching staff, more more evolving of Brandon Staley's defense and giving him more and more roles. I just think Alontae Taylor should be a part of the equation moving forward for this team. And Alontae Taylor did add this. He said, this is my first rodeo. Never been a free agent, but I definitely asked a lot of questions. He's talked to Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, talked to some guys who have been through it. They gave me a lot of insight on it. Take it one day at a time. Like I said, my agent is a dope agent, so he's going to keep me intact. I'm just ready to be a dad to my daughter. That's all I'm thinking about right now. Super excited about that journey. Look, I think that that's a really, really cool thing for him to say. It's showing some of the maturity, showing how he's growing up as a human being, as a man, as a football player. I think when it comes down to Alontae Taylor, bringing him back would be a wise decision. Now, if you disagree, that's fine. I understand why you wouldn't. But let me try to convince you why he should come back. I mean, he wants to be here. Is it fair to say he would take a hometown discount? I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that. But maybe he would be more interested in playing for a little less money in New Orleans than trying to learn an entirely new scheme, entirely new defense, entirely new city, an entirely new area, move his whole family. Maybe that's something that he just doesn't necessarily want to do. He's extremely versatile. Arguably, he is the top free agent cornerback in this class. So that is why Alontae Taylor expects to get a lot of buzz. You can have him play on the interior. You can have him play on the outside. You can have him pretty much do whatever you want. He's an extremely effective player. He has a lot of skills. He has a very versatile weapon. And to be totally honest, I think when it comes to Alontae Taylor, like I've said multiple times, he should be a part of the future. Now, for a projected contract, I want you guys to look at this. I want you to absorb it. I want you to marinate in it for a second. And you might be thinking, why the hell are we paying him $45 million? Well, actually, it's a 3-year, $39 million contract technically. That would average out to be $13 million per year because of the guarantees. Now, the average and the total goes up because I think let's give him a 3-year, $13 million contract. And then let's open it up to $6 million in incentives. That's $2 million per year. Obviously, you can move some of those things up or down, left or right. I don't really care. But when it comes down to it, I think a 3-year, $13 million per year or 3-year, $13 million per year contract with $2 million per year in incentives to total out to $15 million a year. I don't think that's that bad of a contract. I actually think that this is a little bit of a steal, and I think that this is a contract that, similar to the Chase Young contract and similar to Juwan Johnson's, it'll be criticized when pen is put to paper, but when we revisit it in the season and then at the end of the season next year, I think we'll all be sitting here saying, man, that was a really, really good deal by the New Orleans Saints. Now, if you want to find more content around the black and gold, I know there's not a lot of buzz out there anymore. It's the offseason. And, ESPN doesn't talk about the Saints. Pat McAfee doesn't talk about the Saints. CBS, Sports Illustrated, none of those guys are really talking about the Saints. But you know who does? Us. Every single day. So if you want to find more Saints videos by fans for fans, don't just subscribe to the channel, like the video, and YouTube will recommend more of our content into your algorithm. Goodness gracious, I can't speak today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. If this is the first time you've watched one of our videos, I encourage you to join the Golden Gang and subscribe. If this is not your first time watching, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in, and y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.